I'm not a regular recruiter. I'm not the type of person that's just gonna go in and ask a question like, why'd you leave this job? What would your last employer say about you? Tell me about your greatest strength, your worst weakness. Nobody cared about that stuff.
Welcome to Tommy's Toolbox, the Tampa Bay business podcast where we talk about building success from the ground up. I'm your host, Tommy Whitehead, builder, author, and proud member of the Tampa Bay business community. Every week, we open the toolbox and share real stories, practical tools, and inspiration from local entrepreneurs, business owners, and community leaders who are shaping the future of Tampa Bay. So grab your hard hat and let's start building success one conversation at a time. Today, I'm excited to welcome Tamara Galla, the owner of PDI Connection. PDI Connection has become a staple known for educating you on how to hire employees and finding somebody that is a great fit for your team. Hey, Tamara, how are you doing today?
I'm wonderful, Tommy. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing fantastic.
Great.
I love doing this show. I get to meet so many really, really cool people. So let's just kind of like dive right in here. So we only have a few minutes to interview with you today, and I want to take full advantage of it. So around here, we like to say that success is built, not found. And I know you built something pretty special right here. And so let's start with your story. Tell me a little bit about what inspired you to start your business here in Tampa Bay.
Thanks, Tommy. So I have been in recruiting and HR for about 26 years in the Tampa Bay area. And I've always wanted to kind of positively change the landscape of how businesses and companies hired people. So about 4 years ago, it came to me that I was interested in opening up my own recruiting company and decided that if I wasn't going to do it then, I was never going to do it. So I talked to my accountant, talked to my attorney, and said this was my dream. I named the company PDI Connection, and it stands for Passion, Drive, and Integrity. And that's the way that I would like to bring people onto different companies based on the candidates having that passion, drive, and integrity. And I thought if I opened up my own business, I'd really be able to land that well and deliver that to companies and to businesses. So the dream was to have my own recruiting company. And I started it at my dining room table with my laptop, my journal, a pen, a lot of tears because I was scared as hell, and called my book of business that I had and said, listen, hey, it's Tamara. I'm opening up my own recruiting company. Will you come on board with me? And a few of them did. A few of them weren't sure, but I have grown my business over the past 4 years to be one of the strongest and recognized recruiting companies because we hire the person and not just fill the job.
That's incredible. So, on a selfish note, with our construction division, 40% of the construction workforce is retiring in the next 5 years. We can't find enough people to replace them. And we don't want just warm bodies. We want qualified individuals.
Absolutely.
I understand accounting firms are suffering the same.
Yeah.
Even with AI coming in, it's difficult. So when you're placing the right person in, company culture and the person's culture aligning, that's got to be pretty important, right?
It's super important. I've always believed that you hire the person. You don't just fill the job. So the biggest thing that we do is we make a connection and partnership with the client, making sure we know exactly what you need, what the camaraderie is all about, what the leadership is about. And then the connection with the candidate is so important. I'm a very unique interviewer. I like to ask questions about who they are. I don't ask questions like, what's your greatest strength, your worst weakness? None of that stuff matters. And the piece of paper, the resume, there's so much more to a person than that. So we spend a lot of time just getting to know them, connecting with them personally, finding out things that they're interested in. What are their hobbies? What is their favorite food? What do they do on the weekend? What's their family about? How is that going to relay into me introducing this candidate to the client, and how will that client be able to fit this candidate into their company? So one of the biggest things I share with businesses is that you need to hire the person and not hire them just for the job. The job is the easy part. They need the qualifications. They need to be able to understand and perform the duties, but they also need to have a person that's going to fit amongst the team, the camaraderie. They're enjoying what they're doing. I tell people all the time, if you're not passionate about what you do, you shouldn't be doing it at all.
That's incredible. And I've seen talented individuals not being utilized or not fitting into company culture change companies and blossom. They just blossom because they were great people and the company was great. Both companies are great, but they just found themselves in a culture. And so the fact that you are being so forward thinking is incredible. So tell me, Tamara, what's one major challenge you faced early on and how'd you overcome it? I mean, starting a business is scary.
It is. It's very scary. I think the biggest thing I needed to realize is this was a dream of mine. I wanted to do it. I stayed true to who I was professionally and personally. I stayed true to my motto of passion, drive, and integrity. The biggest thing I had to overcome was getting myself out there. Will people really recognize, like, who is PDI Connection? A lot of companies and a lot of candidates, they don't want to work with a recruiter, but I just needed to let them talk with me. I just needed to meet with them so they could see, who is Tamara? What is she about? Like, what is this company about? So that was the biggest hurdle, was just getting myself out there and saying, listen, I'm not a regular recruiter. I'm not the type of person that's just going to go in and ask a question like, why'd you leave this job? What would your last employer say about you? Tell me about your greatest strength or worst weakness. Nobody cared about that stuff. So the biggest hurdle I had was just people recognizing, this is Tamara, this is what she offers, and she can really positively change the foundation of how we, the company, is hiring people. So that was my biggest hurdle in the beginning, and then it kind of took off. As you know, like, referrals are the biggest part of my business, and networking, and I truly believe in supporting the community and supporting other businesses, and, you know, giving, not to receive, but once you're out there, it comes back to you eventually by networking and supporting the community.
And so persistence.
Yeah.
That was really key, right? Wanting to give up, but being persistent, probably tactfully persistent,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. And you mentioned persistence, and I just was thinking about that today. I'm like, I'm sitting at my home office today, getting ready to come here and meet with you. And I was like, you know, I don't believe in bad days. I think we all have off moments. And I was having a moment, and I thought, no, I'm staying. I'm going to fight through this. It was something with a new client, and I'm like, I'm going to be persistent because I know I can help them. I know I can make this work for them. And right before I got here, I got the call and everything worked out. So the persistence is a huge thing. That's
absolutely wonderful. And you mentioned something else that we are big on, and that's community support. Mm-hmm. It's not community support. The only way to get any community support is to give it. You have to give it, and usually it comes back tenfold. At least it has for us.
Yes, absolutely. And community is super important to me. I mean, I live over in the Clearwater, Bel Air area in Pinellas, but I stay very true to the Tampa Bay area. I try to go to events. I try to meet with people, and I don't want to meet with people just because I'm trying to get any type of business or say, hey, I'm Tamara from PDI Connection. I just want to see, how can I help you? The greatest feeling, honestly, is being able to give something to somebody and change their day or change their life. And that's why I do recruiting. I get to change people's lives and offer them a new job. And I get to change companies, you know, their connection with, you know, the people that they're hiring and who they're bringing in, you know, to help their company be better. So community is important to me because I feel like I always want to give, but never to receive.
Very cool. So Tamara, let's talk about strategy. Every business owner has their go-to tool, you know, that special little something in their utility belt, right? What's your best tool in your business toolbox?
Connection, just really finding ways to connect with people and listening. And, you know, sometimes I get excited and I want to share and talk. But I've learned that listening is something that I really value now more than anything. But the biggest tool is just the communication and the connection part. So, and finding something that you can connect with, whether it's a business owner or whether it's a candidate. So that is probably the number one thing that I do, is connect with people.
That's incredible. And you mentioned something, listening, because most of us kind of wear our problems on our sleeve. We don't realize we're talking about the off day today because, you know, this is the third time our assistant called out.
Yeah.
Or we really just can't hit our sales goals. You're listening. You're like, oh, why can't you hit your sales goals? Who's in your sales department? Mm-hmm. You're listening to these types of things.
Absolutely.
And that is great in any profession, mm-hmm. is to listen to the people around you, and you never know what kind of connection you'll make because of that.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
That's great. Like I said, I really, really love that. Mindsets, the right mindsets, they build better structures in business and in life. Mm-hmm. And you definitely have the right mindset with the connections. You built something pretty cool here in Tampa Bay. What advice would you give somebody who's just starting out in entrepreneurship? And you probably have 1,000 recommendations, right?
Great. Yes, I have 1,000 for sure. Great question. So My recommendation is just like you said the word earlier, just stay persistent. But I truly believe like if you're passionate about something, nothing can stand in your way. And I remember years ago, I always had the motto of passion, drive, and integrity way before I started PDI Connection. And I would use it constantly with everything I said. I would tell people like, if you're not passionate, you're not driven, you don't have integrity, those are 3 qualities you have to have professionally and personally. So anybody that's looking to start, just do it. Like what's going to happen? You're going to have to either pivot and shift and figure it out. And we've all had failures. And to me, the failures I've had in my business have made me stronger. They have built my business more. I've learned so much from so many people, and I've learned so much from myself when I've just sat back, paused, listened, and just kept going and stayed persistent. But I think the biggest thing is just do it. Like, I feel that's the way to go about things. Like if you sit back and you go, well, maybe, don't be a maybe person. Get out there, make it happen, and work. You don't have anything to prove to anybody except yourself. And anybody that's going to be along with you and support you, they're going to be along with you and they're going to support you regardless. But I'd say to anybody looking to start their own business, no matter what it is, just stay true to you, stay passionate, and just do it.
Consistency is absolutely key because you're going to get your butt handed to you more times than you can count and all the reasons to go back and just work for somebody else. But you stay consistent and all of a sudden you start to get over the hump and you see little gradual changes. And those are the real blueprints for long-term success.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the heart behind what you do. How does your business give back to the Tampa Bay community? You used community very early on in this conversation. Yeah. So how does your business or how do you give back to the community?
So just being present too and helping people out. Like I will get people that will call me and be like, hey, Tamara, I'm looking for, maybe in the next couple months, I'm looking to fill a certain position. Can you help me and give me any type of advice on how to do that? Absolutely, I will. Candidates, I'm scared to interview. They'll come to me and they're like, you were so great in this interview when we spoke on the phone, Tamara, when we met in person. How do I get over this hump of meeting, the client, and what do I say? So I always want to offer my services. I'm not looking for anything in return by any means. The other way I feel really, really strongly about helping the community is just that, like, being a bridge connector. To me, that's important. There's people that I know that don't know how to get to that other person, and networking and community, like how can we bring these people together? So I want to always give back and say, hey, if somebody comes to me, a candidate, I'm looking for a job, I might not have the availability, of that job in my book of business at that time, but I'm certainly going to help them out, call people I know, connect anybody that I can. And that's same with the business. Like, businesses now with hiring, they want to grow, but they're thinking, how do I make this happen? What do I do? What advice can you give me, Tamara? And I go, listen, you want to always hire the person. And there's other things that we talk about, but my giving back is just being present and connecting and networking.
That's absolutely incredible. And you do that without regard for something for yourself, right?
Yeah.
You may know a pest control guy and a tenant that needs pest control. And what's that do to you? Nothing, right?
Right, exactly.
But it just connects two people together. Yeah. But that keeps you top of mind.
Yep, absolutely.
When the pest control company needs something, when there's a vacancy at the tenant's, job, they're now, oh, I know, she helped me out. Yeah. She's a recruiter.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should call her first.
And that has happened so often. I get phone calls so much, Tommy, and connections and emails of people who are like, hey, Tamara, we met a few years ago at the Tampa Chamber, or we met at, Tampa Bay Business Wealth Magazine, or we met at the St. Pete Chamber. And I want to remember them. I do. And I look them up and do my work and make sure I know who I'm speaking to. But they remembered something about me. Like, I always make sure that people notice something about me when I'm in a room with people. Whether one thing, went to a big conference in Austin. It was the NAPIO conference, the National PEO conference and HR conference. And my first day there, I was presenting and I wore hot pink shoes. I wanted people to go, oh, you mean Tamara with the hot pink shoes?
Yes.
So there's always something. I try to make myself be aware to other people and always kind, but something with the looks has to stand out so they go, oh, I remember who Tamara is.
So I'm not as confident with the hot pink shoes myself, right? But I do have, fun fact, I have a pair of light up LED color changing shoes and a bow tie. And yes, if you want to be known, I met somebody 2 years later and they said, did you go to this event? And I'm like, yeah, did you see the guy with the bow tie? You're the bow tie guy?
Yeah, I love
and
it.
I'm like, yeah, I'm the bow tie guy.
I love it.
So I earned that nickname for something I attended in Scottsdale, I think.
I love it.
It was a lot of fun to do that. All right, Tamara, it's time for a little bit of fun. You're almost through here. You've done a great job. We call this part of the podcast quick fix, okay? So I don't want you to think about this. I just want you to give me answers, okay? So I'm going to do a series of questions here. So you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Coffee. Okay, cool. Morning routine or late night grind?
Late night grind.
Okay. Me too.
Yes.
Actually, I think I get the morning routine and the late night grind on some
If
days.
I don't sleep the night before, I can't ever do the morning. So I keep it with the late night grind.
What's your favorite Tampa Bay spot to unwind? Anybody want to shout out?
Oh, wow. I love downtown St. Pete. I love downtown Tampa, but I do love downtown St. Pete. I love Urban Stillhouse. I am a big thrift store shopper, so I love all the thrift store shopping in downtown St. Pete.
Incredible. I love doing that too. So one tool you can't live without.
Oh, my cell phone.
Your cell phone?
Yeah. I mean, professionally, my cell phone, personally, my lip gloss. Okay?
Both very functional and practical,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
All right. If you could build anything tomorrow, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, a tiny home.
A tiny home.
Yes. I don't know if I could build it hands in that, it would be a tiny home. I love interior design and I'd start off with that small space. See, we could connect and talk.
We could connect and talk about, we could build you a tiny home.
Yes.
We have 3 models sitting in the other room.
I love it. And then I put it on the back of my Range Rover and drive all over the United States and pop it wherever I want, So yeah, a tiny home.
Okay. Tamara, this one's easy. How can people connect with you?
So they can connect with me through my website, which is pdiconnection.com. They can connect with me through email, which is my first name, Tamara, Tamara, at pdiconnection.com. Or they could call me. Do you want me to give my phone number too?
we'll put all your contact information in the comments below.
Yeah.
So make sure to, if you didn't grab that on the screen, make sure that you look at the comments below. Thank you, Tamara, for joining me today. Your story adds another layer to what makes the Tampa Bay business community so incredible. People who build success through passion, purpose, and perseverance. For our listeners, remember, success isn't found, it's built. Every day is a chance to add another tool to your toolbox. I'm Tommy Whitehead, and this has been Tommy's Toolbox, the Tampa Bay podcast for entrepreneurs, leaders, and dream builders. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and follow us on social media for more episodes and business success stories from across Tampa Bay. Until next time, let's keep building homes, building community, and building success.